Thank you for joining me today. I am actually answering a question that I get asked a lot, and that is, how do you hold people accountable when you can't see them? In today's world, we are working remotely. Actually, there was an article that I read in LinkedIn earlier today that found that CEOs are mixed about when they're going to go back to having employees work at the office, or even have that hybrid model where some are always going to be permanently working remotely. And what that means is that basically, we used to work in an office environment where we saw, our employees. We saw what they were doing. Whether you walked in the office, looking out your window into the office space, however it was, you knew what your people were doing because you had eyeballs on them. Well, these days, when people are working from home, you don't have eyeballs on them during those 8 hours. And so with that comes some challenges on, how do I know that they're really working if they're at home? And that is the topic that I really want to talk to you about today. And there is a lot of challenges when it comes to having teams work remotely. And that is because we were so used to seeing them on a daily basis, that now, because they are working from home, we are actually end up micromanaging them because we ourselves as bosses are trying to stay on top of the workload and control everything. However, what's happening is that we are dictating when they are going to respond to us, whether it's through email or video conferencing or a phone call. We're kind of telling them when they need to talk to us. And we're also dictating to them when it comes to the workload, how many, because we're trying to stay on top of stuff. Hey, I need you to send me that update. And we are flooding their inboxes because we're doing this multiple times a day because we want to stay on top of things as a boss. And their emails are flooded. Their email boxes are flooded, and that email that you sent now has gotten lost, and then there's a big problem. So there's also another way in which we have started to micromanage, and a lot of companies have put software into their everyday processes, and that is to really have a up-to-date knowledge on what their employees are doing. So they are knowing when they're on the computer and when their computer is idle. So when that happens, your employees, God forbid that they got to take, a 10-minute potty break, or they may take, a little over an hour for a lunch. This is extremely stressful for your employees, knowing that you're monitoring them every single workday. It's invasive, and it is counterproductive to what you as a company are really trying to achieve. And this is really stressful if you've got kids and your employees have kids, because obviously we know that either you're homeschooling or your kids are learning virtually. And when that happens, it may be that, a better productive time for them, for that employee, is maybe working at night, in the evenings, when the kids are actually in bed or off doing something else. So when it comes to, trying to control things and we end up unfortunately micromanaging, that is a challenge, because that is not really holding your people accountable. It's kind of annoying, honestly. And I never wanted to be micromanaged, and I never micromanaged my team. All right. Hey, I'm Dr. Heather Williamson, if you don't know me, and I am the owner of Transformation Group, and I am so glad that you are joining me today. If there are other bosses who are struggling holding their employees accountable with everybody in this virtual world, then please share this video, because I'm going to share with you 3 very simple strategies, and you will know what your employees are doing. All right. So let's get started. All right. The first strategy that I'm going to share with you on how to hold your people accountable when you cannot see them is actually holding team meetings. This is something that needs to be done daily. So holding team meetings daily. And this is something that I would do in the morning if I were you. And then this way you are focusing only on three things. And those three things are what they have accomplished, what the POD or plan of the day is for each and every single one of them, and what areas that they need help on. So you are focusing only on those three things. So what they have accomplished, what the plan of the day is, and where they need help. So they are sharing with you this information on a daily basis in the morning so you know what they're going to be doing the rest of the day. And believe it or not, this is accountability. So you are actually holding your people accountable when you do this. The second strategy I have for you guys is you need to hold or meet with your employees individually. So meet with your team individually. This does not have to be on a daily basis. You kind of get to know, what your team is doing based on the first strategy I shared with you. And so holding your individual meetings with your teams, this might be just a once a week thing. But really the focus is not on strategy one. You're not focusing on what their daily tasks are. Here you are focusing on one thing, and that is where they need help, their challenges that they need assistance with from you that is impacting their performance. And that's it. Okay? And strategy three is basically changing how you think about things. So it's focusing on work output and not work activities. This it's kind of enlightening if you think about it. So it's changing your whole mindset. It's not focusing on what they're doing day in, day out. It's focusing on what is their accomplishments, what they're doing, what their output is. So if you are focusing on output and not what they're doing on a daily basis, it changes everything. Trust is going to develop because you are trusting in them to get the job done, and they're trusting in you that you are not beating them over the head every minute of the day, asking them, feedback or updates on what their workload is. Also, when you do this, you are treating your employees like adults and not children. And this is key if you want mutual respect. Also, when it comes to focusing on output and work output and not the individual activities, some people work better, like I said, some people work better, off hours. Now, obviously, you're going to have meetings during the day and phone calls, and that is a given. But some people maybe work better in the evening. Who cares? If it's not really impacting the business model that you have, I don't see a problem with it. And I think that when you allow flexibility with your employees, this gives them the opportunity to innovate and improve processes. So allowing flexibility with them, and then giving yourself flexibility to say, hey, I'm not going to worry about what you're doing every day, every minute of the day, because I know what you're doing, because I know what your accomplishments are. I know what your plan of the day is, and I know where you need help. So hopefully these strategies are useful for you and you found them to be something that you want to implement within your team. And if so, please like the button below. Don't forget to subscribe so you get more great tips on how to be a better boss. And last but not least, now go out and be that boss that your employees want to work for. Until next time, bye.